Now let's go eventually right now to Ottawa now. Heritage Minister Pablo Rodriguez and the Bloc Québécois and NDP for Heritage, Arts and Culture speaking to the media about the Online News Act, also known as Bill C-18. Let's listen in.
A very aggressive campaign. They refused to discuss, and they did not want to compensate the media accordingly, and so we've decided to suspend publicity or advertising rather on Facebook and Instagram immediately. You talked about other countries. Other countries that might want to follow suit could maybe have a common front. The United States is very quiet on this front. What do you think of that? There is support on both sides of the House, both from Democrats and Republicans. I've had a discussion with the senator who talked about this, and we will discuss shortly. There are other countries that want to have this discussion: England, Indonesia, Brazil. These are countries that are going in the same direction as Canada. They have similar bills that they're working on. Sometimes they're a little bit different. The challenge is the fact that our newsrooms are disappearing, and that is unacceptable for our democracies.
Google and Meta have said that the regulatory process is not equipped to deal with the changes that they want to see. That should have been dealt with as the bill was being debated and amended. You're saying today that you think that the changes Google wants can be done in the regulatory process. Can you clarify exactly what the path forward is?
Well, I can't negotiate in public, right? So Google has specific asks. We've met with them a few times. I personally met with them a couple of weeks ago. And I think we have another meeting soon. And hopefully we're able to find a path forward. And we're convinced at the government that what Google is asking at this moment can be done, and will be done actually, through regulations.
And if Google and Meta were to actually make good on their threats, have you done any sort of estimate on how much exactly in terms of revenue that the Canadian news industry would lose if they move forward with their threats?
Well, we're working on the scenario where we can sit down and negotiate something. It makes sense for everyone. It makes sense for them also, because at the end of the day, Canadians will find alternatives also to go to the news, either directly to the websites. They can use Apple News. They can use different news aggregators, or there's ways of doing that. But at the end of the day, we're not looking for confrontation. We're looking for discussions and agreements, and we think that is found around the table. So that's why we're pursuing our conversations with Google, and I invite Meta to do the same things. I'm ready to discuss.
Christian Noël, Radio-Canada.
Bonjour. Quand on parle d'annuler les publicités
We're
sur
talking
Facebook et
about
Instagram,
removing advertising on Facebook and Instagram. How much money is that, and where's that money going to go? Are we keeping it in our pockets? I think it's about $10 million per year. We will reinvest it in major campaigns, but we don't have the details yet. We won't be keeping that money. What's important is that we are removing ourselves from advertising on Instagram and Facebook, and we will be reinvesting that money. A question for the three of you, Mr. Julien, Mr. Champoux and Mr. Rodriguez. For Meta, do you get the impression that it's just a question of money or of principle and a global negotiation on the global front?
Mais là, je pense que c'est clair qu'on en parle des milliards de dollars qu'ils ont enlevés du marché canadien.
Billions of dollars that they've removed from the Canadian market.
Effectivement, de réduire les profits qu'ils reçoivent.
We will, of course, be reducing the profits that they will be getting. And that is why they've reacted this way. Financially, it doesn't make sense. In my opinion, yes, they are trying to send a message internationally.
We were just
They
hearing
have
from
done
Minister of
this
Canadian Heritage Pablo
in
Martinez talking to
California.
reporters along with the NDP and Bloc Québécois about the Online News Act, also known as Bill C-18. He says that the government will stop advertising on Facebook and Instagram immediately. That's around $10 million in savings per year. And he also mentioned, Pablo Rodriguez says that we have a path forward on resolving the dispute over online news law and are willing to continue talking with Google and Meta. He said he spoke to them just a couple weeks ago. And then when asked what would he do, what is the plan if Google and Meta actually go through with their threats and not post Canadian news on their search engines and websites, he said that Canadians will simply find another way to get their news, particularly going straight to the news site itself.